Hi and welcome to the Monday Live, and it's the Monday after the weekend, as it were, because I was working at Denham. We had a lovely sort of house party effect, really, just small party, but it was lovely. They looked after us really well, and they even served us a meal. So a very nice change. The food was good. And so they're trying to change things, which is quite exciting. So they are trying to improve things for us, because we've had a shaky patch, shall we say, at Denham. But hopefully now we can look forward to better events in the future. So that is exciting. And obviously there's lots of different places you can go to, but I'd recommend giving that another go, because we certainly had a lovely time there. In fact, I played a few games as well, which was interesting. So what's happening? We are showing, we've moved on to defence versus no trump. One no trump. So that's not defending as in the defence of the hand, bidding, essentially, bidding against it. And I'll take some tidbits from the big seminar today. And then we will subsequently look, I think, at how to deal with that interference, because it's all well and good interfering, but what do you do when they have interfered? So we will look at that. So in the coming things, but do send in your hand. Very common topic, this one no trump, overcalling, and dealing with the overcalling and basically competing for the hand. Really interesting. Of course, on Fridays we are strong overcalling at the moment. Another interesting topic, actually. What do you do when your hand is particularly strong, and how do you define the barriers between a simple overcall and a better hand, and that kind of thing. We're going to have a 5-level decision, and we are going to have a bidding quiz. However, we've got other things to discuss. We are going to be aiming to do some charity work from now until the end of the year, and hopefully the Bridge, the EBU, etc. will be doing their thing, hopefully around the September-October time, and we'll join in with that. But we already have a member of our staff doing it, so let me show you that. This is Gary, and here's what he's been up to.
Good morning from a glorious day at Windsor Racecourse. I've just arrived and picked up my bid. This is for the Race for Life 10K for Cancer Research, which is Bernard Magee's charity for 2025. If you would like to donate, please click the link below. Thank you.
Go, Gary! Woo! Well done, mate! Woo!
Can we go for a high five? Can we do it? Yes!
So there you go. And if you ring the office, whether you're booking holidays, all sorts, I'm sure quite a few of you may have spoken to Gary. He's very helpful. And he's been working for us some time now. I think it's probably, that's a tough one, 3 years maybe. But we're all hopefully going to do our bit in various ways, whether it's cake sales or maybe Helen, Alfie and I will try and find a fun one. Remember, Alfie went last year. I didn't make it because I was busy, but I did make some chocolate brownies and they all went. So we will be making our efforts to do that over the rest of the year. So what else is there? Well, even more exciting than that, if it can be. Sound on that. No, so it's our 5th year anniversary. So I'll quickly put a slide up that you can see, because it's got no sound. So let me just show you that. I will come back to it again, because I'm going to say there's 5 lovely prizes there. So I'll let you look at those prizes. Remember, what we want you to do is just do anything. This is for the members. I will say that one. You can always join us now, though, and then you get the chance to win a holiday, win a Q+, win a year's subscription, etc., etc. So plenty of chances to win. And if you just contact us, even with a hand or anything like that, as a non-member, we have the odd option. So I've put up the prizes once more there. Lots and lots of prizes, of course. Those come, so 5 years, can you believe it, since we started up in COVID. Really good prizes. We've had the winners of the holiday each year have used their vouchers. It is a true thing. It's not just a gimmick, and so as well as, there's over £1,000 worth of prizes all told between those prizes. So that is exciting. Oh, let me just check that. maybe I'd say probably about maybe between 800 and 1,000, but they are good prizes, and so hopefully someone's going to win some of those, and I know some of you have done in the previous years. So do try and do things. Just contact us in any way over the next 2 or 3 weeks, and you'll be entered into the prize draw and have a chance of winning those things. So it is exciting. What else have I got for you? Well, as usual, we've got our list of various events, and I think there's a couple of flash sales there which are finishing very soon. So if you're interested in them, go for them. And I am going to move on to some bridge now, and then I'll show you some of the foreign holidays, etc., and talk about those a little bit. So here I've got the 5-level decision, which we saw on Friday. Interesting one, this one. I mean, let's be honest, they're all tricky. Here you go. 1 spade from you, pass 4 spades, and then an annoying intervention. So nobody's vulnerable. What a tricky one there. So 1 spade, pass 4 spades, 4 no trumps. Isn't that annoying? So it's always quite tricky, these ones, because you're never quite sure what your partner's got either, because he's made a jump to 4 spades here. So have a little think about that, and we will come back to that after the little seminar I'm going to deliver. Okay, so let me just go there. And of course, we've got all the cruises that are coming up there. Well, there's lots of them. I can't remember. Where am I going now? Oh, there's Ireland as well. I'd forgotten about that. The Irish one. And I'm going next year, I think. No, that's this year. That's Elaine. I think I'm going around Britain next year as well. So there's lots of exciting things to consider. Just one other thing in terms of the holidays abroad. We are launching our holidays abroad in about a week's time. We will give you a list of them. They're on the website already, and Helen will get a list ready for the Monday next week so that you can see the list of the events that we are doing. We are our own agent very soon. Bernard Magee Bridge, or BMB Holidays. That's what we are. And so those are the only holidays you can do with us next year. Okay, so if there's any other advertised holidays, then they're nothing to do with us. Okay, all of our holidays in the future are with BMB Holidays only. Okay, so Bernard Magee Bridge. Okay, so it's worth noting that, because previously we'd been using a different thing. Okay, so let's go to the PowerPoint, and we are defending against 1 no trump. I'm going to use some of the tidbits from this big seminar that some of you will have looked at. So first of all, I want you to be aggressive when overcalling. Sometimes people have the misnomer that you need strong hands to overcall. What you do need is hands of quality and distribution, or a strong hand. Okay. So your options over 1 no trump, of course, you can choose anything you want to. And in the big seminar, I go over some of the options you have. The ones that I love to get a balance between, I'm just going to say commonality, but things that come up commonly and complication. Because clearly the more difficult system you play, the more likely it's going to come up, probably, because you can cover all of the options. Okay, but these things can be complicated, because it's all well and good knowing the system. But very often, once they've opened, they'll often bid again. So it might get 1 no trump, some bid from you, a bid from the opponents as well. And things can quickly get out of hand. So understanding a system and having the level of complexity is interesting. So double should be for penalties, particularly a weak no trump. Must be over a weak no trump. Over a strong no trump, don't mind you considering things, but over a weak no trump, double should be for penalties. Okay. And I usually suggest Landy for, which is 2 clubs for the majors, relatively straightforward. I think you should have a bid that shows both majors, whether it's 2 clubs or 2 diamonds in your system. I suggest the simplest system is 2 clubs for the majors and everything else is natural. I'm not saying any other system's worse or better. I'm just trying to get a balance. It is nice to bid more, and you can play much more complicated systems to bid more. This is nice and simple though. Notice that if you play 2 clubs to show the majors, if you want to overcall in clubs, you have to use that 3 club bid. Okay, so you cannot, and this is important, you cannot play a 2 club overcall over 1 no trump to be either the majors or clubs. Okay, so if you play Landy, 2 clubs shows the majors, and if you then follow up with 3 clubs, you're still saying you've got the majors. Of course, you can play Astro, you can play Asptro, you can play all sorts. There's all sorts of systems. Astro's a little bit more tricky, and you know, deciding whether you want to play that or not depends on what you want. If you play it, it's best to play it more precisely, so definitely with 5 of the major I would recommend. I'll play against people who play, sometimes they can have 4 and it doesn't work so well, it sort of randomizes things. Okay, but yes, certainly Astro is a chance. So this is the simplest version, probably, Landy. Well, sorry, I should say the simplest version is completely natural, but I think this is a reasonable option if you don't like conventions, but you should have this bid for the majors, okay, because the majors win. Let's say both sides can, because remember, a weak no trump, quite often it'll be 20-20. The majors win, and that's why we love a bid that shows the majors. 2 clubs says partner, which major do you prefer? You finish in one and you win the auction, because the opponents would have to bid to 3 of a minor to compete, if that makes sense. Whereas if you showed the minors, quite often they would just come in with a major over. Okay. And don't forget, pass is obviously an option as well. I usually put an exclamation next to that because sometimes people with 12 points feel they need to bid. Okay. What do you need to double 1 no trump? A good 15 or better is what I like to do. I do quite like doubling 1 no trump, I must admit. But be aware that if it goes 1 no trump and it's your bid and you double and you're on the cusp, remember, you're the opening leader. So if you think, shan't I, and you can't work out what to lead, well, the chances are you shouldn't. Whereas if you've got a nice suit to lead, being aggressive with your doubles makes sense. Bear in mind, when you double, you're hoping to get it down, but you are giving a lot of information away. So quite often the declarer will have a chance to make on average an extra half trick because he knows where all the points are. For example, an end player, something like that, knowing that you hold a king, rather than taking a finesse, they might leave you on lead and force you to give a trick back. However, on average, if you've got a good 15 or better, you're probably likely to take the contract 1 or 2 off. Okay, that's the key. It's the 2 off that matters. 1 off might only be 100 to you, but 2 off, suddenly the scores start getting better. And I think most of us have probably had the experience of getting as much as 800 or 1100 from 1 no trump doubled, and also had the experience of giving away 800 or 1100. Okay, with just 15 points, you should have a good lead or a source of tricks, something like, a 5-card suit or something like that, because remember, you'll have plenty of entries. Okay. The most important thing for me about doubling for penalties is that you should be continually hunting for that penalty. Do not let them run without pursuit. Now, that doesn't mean we always double them. If they run and they find a fit and neither of us has length in the opponent's suit, then we might not double. But if either of us has length in their suit, we must double them, and you'll often get more money from doubling your opponents where they end up than you would from 1 no trump, as long as you do it. The reason people love to wiggle and run is because so often they don't get doubled. They get, so it'll go 1 no trump, double, 2 diamonds, pass, pass, pass. 2 diamonds goes 4 off, but 4 off undoubled is a lot better than maybe 2 off doubled. Okay. All right. So what I wanted to look today, that's the sort of start of this big seminar. What I wanted to look today is bidding over the conventions. Okay, what do we do when we're defending against 1 no trump, but they have started the conventional aspect? So particularly stamen or transfers. So rather than it going 1 no trump, what do we bid? What happens when there is an artificial bid? So we can double the artificial bid, which is a relatively free bid. 1 no trump pass, 2 diamonds. They're almost always going to bid 2 hearts, aren't they? So a double can be used in a number of ways. Now, You can use double generally to show strong hands, but that doesn't come up so often. So I much prefer the double of an artificial bid simply to show the bid. So you don't alert it, the double is natural. One no trump pass, 2 diamonds, an artificial bid double says I've got diamonds, partner. And it works 2 ways. It can be lead directional, but it can also suggest, partner, if you fancy it, let's compete. Okay. And the other element is understanding delayed doubles. Okay, delayed doubles in one no trump auctions, because sometimes it goes one no trump, transfer to hearts, pass, pass. So they finish in 2 hearts, and you're wondering whether we shouldn't be competing for this deal. So we're going to look at that. So those are the 2 things we'll have a quick look at now. So here's a classic example. One no trump by your opponent, pass from partner, 2 diamonds from south. So one no trump from north, pass, 2 diamonds, and it is your bid as west. Okay, what do you fancy? Now, of course, you don't have to bid at all. You could pass and leave your opponents to bid 2 hearts, etc. However, a double seems a good option here. You've got lovely diamonds, you don't mind if partner competes to 3 diamonds, and you don't mind, you certainly would love a diamond lead, and for me that's the crucial element here. Imagine it goes 2 diamonds, pass, 2 hearts, and they end up in 3 no trumps. Your partner's going to be on lead. What would you like your partner to lead? Well, most of the time he's probably going to lead a spade. No surprise there. Wouldn't you just love a diamond lead with your entry to go with it? Okay, so double is a great bid here. It's completely natural because you're doubling an artificial bid. So you're saying you have diamonds. Okay, so let's look at a couple of hands where it might come up. Here's an example where you might compete. Your partner's got 12 points, but he's not bidding. He's very flat. So one no trump from north with 13 points. Pass. 2 diamonds, transfer from south, and we double it to say, partner, I've got diamonds. 2 hearts, normal bid from north, and east is now able to compete with 3 diamonds. And that's really important in these auctions to be able to compete. And as you can see, 21 against 19, so it's really tight. And that might finish the auction, it might not. Let's look at the relative scores. 3 diamonds makes, no surprise for east. Okay, you've got clearly 8 tricks and you'll make a rough of a club for your 9th trick. So 3 diamonds is a great score. For north-south, they're probably actually going to go 1 off in 2 hearts. So this I find intriguing, always tricky, but I think if north or south push on to 3 hearts here, east should be doing what I call a pairs double. So if they push to 3 hearts, east should be doubling that. Okay, expecting partner to hold something in his own hand, and as you can see here, I think 3 hearts might go 2 off. 2 off undoubled is 100. And that would be a good score for north-south, because instead of giving you 110, they'd only lose 100. But if we double it, we turn it into 300. So it's interesting that when you get competitive deals, and 3 hearts is wrong in a way for north-south, but only if they're going to get doubled. Okay, if they're not going to get doubled, 3 hearts is okay. Notice in the centre of the screen you see the words love all. That means nobody is vulnerable. Let's look at another one. Similar thing. Imagine the auction. Here's your hand. Imagine the auction starts 1 no trump on your right. Transfer to hearts. 3 no trumps. Okay. So 1 no trump, transfer to hearts, 3 no trumps. Your lead. It is your lead. Okay. And you have a very simple lead. No reason to look any further than the Queen of Spades. Okay. So you would lead the Queen of Spades, which is, for me, absolutely the right lead, and declare makes 3 no trumps plus many. However, what would you lead if your partner had doubled 2 diamonds? Okay, so the lead, I think, against 3 no trumps without anything from partner, you would lead the Queen of Spades. Hopefully partner's got a little bit of help, maybe King to 3 or something like that, and you never know, you might make the spades, but it's a very safe lead as well. But if your partner has doubled 2 diamonds, he is saying, partner, I've got nice diamonds. So I know that my partner's likely to have the strength of the hand. Remember, I've only got 4 points. So I'd love to lead my partner's suit, but I'm not going to take a gamble. Queen of spades is lovely safely, but if partner doubles 2 diamonds, I'm leading the jack of diamonds without a thought. You know, and if it's wrong, it's partner's fault. He has told me that he wants diamonds, diamonds, diamonds. And we know his hand, we've already seen it, haven't we? And we know that the diamond lead is going to defeat 3 no trumps. And so let's have a look at the full hand. So there you go, exactly the same hand, of course. We saw the West hand before, and I was showing you the 2 types of hands where the double works, okay? Where you can compete for the hand, or here, West doubles that transfer, and when they bid to 3 no trumps, we lead the jack of diamonds. And what a difference, it's 4 tricks difference. The jack of diamonds lead knocks out the ace of diamonds, and the ace of clubs is the entry. Instead, the normal spade lead results in declarer being able to knock out the ace of clubs with simplicity and make 12 tricks. He only loses the ace of clubs on a spade lead instead of losing 5 tricks. What a difference that double makes, okay? So it can work in both ways. It's not perfect, but it's much more common for this to happen. If you've got 16 or 17 points, really tricky sometimes in these auctions, but you can wait. You will get another bid. And that's what we're going to look at now. Okay, so that's your first aspect. What about the idea of delayed doubles? So let's have a think. Now, I love simple doubling rules, and most of you will know that I love doubles in no trump auctions to be penalties most of the time. 1 no trump double, you know, 1 no trump 2 hearts double. I love playing doubles for penalties in those auctions. However, when an auction subsides, particularly after we've passed, so once you've passed already and the opponents complete a transfer, there are going to be a lot of hands where the transferer has quite a weak hand. Okay, so maybe just 4 or 5 points, which means we've got the majority of points. So in that kind of auction, it has to make sense that the player, that when we bid over that completed transfer, that the double therefore would be for takeout. Don't have to alert it, it would be natural in that sense. But it goes in a way against my simple rules, because I do like simple rules, I have to say. But in an auction where it goes 1 no trump pass, 2 diamonds pass, 2 hearts, I think both players should be able to use their double for takeout in that auction. And it's really important. Okay, let me show you a simple example. Okay, so you're sitting with a 12 count and you have a 1 no trump bid against you, okay? And you're thinking to yourself, okay, I've got nothing to say here. Okay, so you pass. It then goes 2 diamonds on your left by south, okay, and then pass. And no surprise, north, the opening bidder bids 2 hearts, and it's your bid, okay? So, and the point here is, yes, it's tricky because south, who's made the transfer, could have a lot of points. However, it's not unreasonable here to describe your hand. You've already passed, so you haven't got a penalty double. You're not super strong. There's clear, you cannot possibly have a hand that wants to penalise 2 hearts. So I think it's important that you can double this for takeout. Okay, and of course you want to compete for the hand. Now, if it turns out they've got game on, they're likely to bid game. But if South is sitting with a normal sort of 5 to 7 point hand, 20-20 across the board, as it were, then we want to compete. Okay, we want to try to get to our best fit, and the double says, partner, please bid your best suit. Okay, because the responder can be really weak here. Okay, there'll be times we can even make a game. That's not what we're really trying to do by doubling. What we're trying to do is just find our best fit. Okay, so here it's a classic example, really. We've got 22 actually on this occasion, and they've got 18. Okay, so North opens a weak no trump. We pass on the first round. Transfer from South. 2 hearts from North. Notice West, for me, that's not good enough diamonds, okay, to double. Some of you might be looking at that. For me, I'd prefer, I need to know it's the right lead. So that hand, King, Queen to 5, a 5th diamond would be enough for me, okay, to double the 2 diamond bid. Anyway, it goes 2 diamonds past 2 hearts, and now we double for takeout. Partner, I don't want to play in hearts, choose a suit, okay. Oops, excuse me. So here, your partner would bid 3 diamonds. His partner's hearts are not good enough to pass, and we would get to 3 diamonds again. It's so important to compete with these hands, and I think once again, if they bid to 3 hearts, it's important that West would make a penalty double over that. So it goes 2 diamonds, transfer to hearts, 2 hearts by North, we double for takeout. It goes pass, 3 diamonds from West. So we found a nice fit. 3 diamonds will make here. Okay. You know, you really will. 110 points. It's really worthwhile. It's always quite tempting for North-South here to push on to 3 hearts. Okay, but you've got to be careful. Again, it works if you don't get doubled. But West there should be thinking, well, I've got 10 points. My partner's shown a reasonable hand because he's doubled. So I'd expect us to have the majority of the points. And with trumps breaking badly, I think I'm going to try and take that down. You can see they would lose ace king of clubs, ace king of diamonds, the ace of hearts, and a spade, in fact, as well. They might, you might take it, you might take more. Actually, you might be able to make an extra trump because it'll be quite awkward for declarer because the trumps break badly. So, but the point is 3 hearts minus 2 is better than 3 diamonds, but 3 hearts doubled minus 2 isn't. So, but the key is competing. It's like any hand. We don't like giving up early. I don't want you letting your opponents play in 2 of a suit easily. Okay, I want you to compete for these hands. So once you've already passed a double in this kind of auction where they've only shown 1 suit, don't forget. It's a bit like a week 2, to be honest. I mean, look at the South hand. Yes, it's only got 5, but it's like a week 2. So we're going to compete in the same way over it. Okay. How about this one? This is slightly different. Again, North bids a no trump and it goes pass 2 diamonds and it's our bid. So 1 no trump, pass 2 diamonds. Now, that's a transfer to hearts. And what I'm thinking straight away is, okay, I'd quite like to make a takeout double, but I haven't really got enough points. I can't do it now, though. A double now just says diamonds. So I'm going to wait because I know what's going to happen. So I pass first and the transfer is completed. What's interesting in the final seat is you are going to see whether South is strong or not. So let's see if South bids. South doesn't. So now we know that this is likely to be a 20-20 hand because South is saying he's got fewer than 10 points or fewer than 11 points. So very often it's going to be a competitive hand. And so I want you to try really hard in this last seat, what we call borrowing a king. So when this 2 hearts dies and comes to us, we are allowed to borrow some points from partner because partner wouldn't have been bidding early because he'd been thinking, well, maybe South is strong. But once we know South is weak, we need to borrow some points because I know partner's got some. So I'm going to put 3 points onto my hand and see if I would have bid with that. So imagine you had the king of spades instead of the 9 of spades. Clearly, you've got a comfortable takeout double. So we are going to do that. Okay, as the last player, remember, do not let the contract lie without a fight, particularly when you're short in their suit. If you had four hearts here, you just leave it. You're happy to play, but with the singleton heart, you double to compete for the hand. Okay, so here's this one. All I've done is I've swapped the hands, but it's now exactly 20-20. Precisely 20-20. And sometimes all we're doing is pushing them from the comfort of 2 hearts to 3 hearts. I love doing that. I love it. So here again, North opens a no trump, East passes, and South makes a transfer. Okay, we don't bid yet. We just pass. 2 hearts from North, again a pass from East. And the key is when South passes, we know that they haven't got anywhere near the strength for game. Well, I suppose they could have 23 or something like that. But the point is we can afford to compete. So we use the takeout double. And our partner, again here, bids 3 diamonds. I mean, we love it when we've got a spade fit because then we can play at the 2 level. It's even better. Do you know what I mean? But even here, getting to 3 diamonds. Okay. Now, I think you'll probably still scrape home in 3 diamonds here. It's tight. Okay, but the key is even if you go 1 off in 3 diamonds, it's better than 2 hearts making. What's always so tricky here to judge is that from North-South's point of view, if they know 3 diamonds is making, then three hearts might be okay. And here, three hearts would just be one off. That queen of spades in the south hand, the extra card, gives them a bit more leeway, and they should be able to make a comfortable 8 tricks. Okay, they're going to lose. We'll come to the vulnerability in a second. It's a good question. But here you can see they're going to lose 5 tricks off the top, but that's probably it now. The ace king of diamonds, ace king of clubs, and the ace of trumps in hearts. But 3 hearts minus 1 is better than 3 diamonds making, and this is the classic part score battle. The previous 2 hands we saw that 3 hearts was going 2 off, and a double really would have worked. Here, doubling 3 hearts would only get you 100, and it would be tight. Okay, but you know, I mean, a lot of these hands are. Vulnerability, really interesting. As you can see here, I've been talking minus 50s. As soon as you put game all there instead, it's a bit more tricky, but not for East West, I don't think. I'm still competing aggressively here with this singleton. So look at the West hand there with a 10-point hand and a singleton. I'm thinking I'm going to borrow a king. So if I had any 10 is probably the I would probably do it on 9, but you can decide what your minimum is. But if you think 10 points and 3 points 13, I'm going to go for it. Okay, and so often you're not just going one off, you're making the contract. Or you just push your opponents one level higher, and sometimes they'll still make, but you make life more difficult for them. Okay, the weak no trump is a powerful weapon. I love it. Okay, it gets in the way, so we have to find ways of competing for hands. Here, so often, 1 no trump or 2 hearts will be the final score, and you can see here it's a 220 point difference between the 2 contracts. Okay, so another interesting aspect there of defending against the 1 no trump and its respective conventions, as it were. What I wanted to do in coming weeks is to look at coping with the interference. So the seminar, for the most part, is about the interference, but I thought, why not have a little look about what we do when they bid landy? Okay, so we can double their bids. What does a double of a landy bid, for instance, or a double of an astro bid, or astro bid, for example, from the one? So 1 no trump, alerted bid, double. So 1 no trump, 2 clubs alerted for showing something. What does the double bid? Okay, double mean, and we'll discuss that. Looking at the idea of Lebenssoll Light, we've mentioned it before. I'm not demanding that you play it at all, but it is an option. I will spell it differently next time because I often put Lebenssoll just with ITE on the end. Okay, so, but Lebenssoll Light is a very simplified version of Lebenssoll, and it's the idea of trying to differentiate between 2 different types of hands. And obviously we need to talk about penalty doubles. When they come in over 1 no trump and you've got a nice hand, punish them, okay, because you can get some great scores, particularly against those who are more aggressive, which I want you to be. And one of the main reasons I want you to be aggressive against a 1 no trump is because your opponents won't double you enough. Okay, so you can get your minus 50s and minus 100s without worry. Okay, however, hopefully a few of you will double more once we've looked at it over the coming weeks. So I hope you enjoyed that. Do look at the big seminar, those of members, and if you want to, remember, you can always join us for a trial. For a week, and then for a week if you've not done it before, and then you can look at the big seminar and do the set hands and have a go at that. So please do. Okay, let's go back to that 5-level decision. Why not? Okay, so this is the hand we had. What do you think? It went 1 spade pass, 4 spades, 4 no trumps, and the most important thing here is that you've got a huge variety of options. So clearly you could double it. You could bid 5 clubs, 5 diamonds, 5 hearts and 5 spades. And you could also pass. So there are a lot of options available to you. So what kind of hand could your partner have? Well, the first thing is you'd suggest that I think you're likely to be able to make 5 spades here. But the worry is you might miss a slam. Now, 4 spades is not a strong bid. Okay, it is not a strong bid from partner, but equally, if partner's got 5 spades to the queen and 5 clubs you know, I don't know, 5 diamond. Well, what do we expect? He could have 5 diamonds, can he? 5, 5, 2, 1. He'll often have a distributional hand. So give him 5 spades to the queen and the ace of hearts or something like that. And you can imagine, you know, only a 6 count, but he'll have the distribution, the 7 loser hand, as a number of you have said. So I think it's worth going on, but I think I should say I've got a pretty good hand, and partner, if you're excited about it, I mean, if you've got a good hand for 4 spades, because the 4 spades is a very wide-ranging bid. Does that make sense? I love doing it on really weak hands, but equally, I could do it with queen, jack to 5 and an ace, and that could easily be enough. Quite often, West will be a 5-5 hand, as I'm expecting from North. I hope everybody's happy with that. We're expecting North to have 2 big suits. Does not have to be the minors. But if North has both minors, then it's possible my partner's got some nice hearts. So I would want to show a slightly better bid than 5 spades. Okay. I think it could be a free pull, undoubtedly, but I think, you know, you've got to play with the odds, and you would feel that your hand is saying to you, I mean, if you had a doubleton diamond and a doubleton club here, I'm less excited. And I may double 4 no trumps to say, partner, I'm not sure. So for me, double in this auction is saying, partner, I'm strong. Okay, I've got a good hand here, but I'm not completely sure I can make it the 5 level. But I would feel with the singleton in diamonds there and the 3 clubs that I'm much more confident that I'm going to make 11 tricks here. Okay, in which case, but I'm going to show a strong hand for 11 tricks. Remember, 5 spades to me will often be, I'll take the ace of clubs away here, and I don't think I've got any defence. And I might bid 5 spades as a sacrifice. So it's important that partner knows what's going on. Are you the strong hands or the weak hands? Because remember, if I had 6 spades and a 12 count here, and if partner's showing a distributional hand, I'm going to bid 5 spades because I think going down might be a good one. Rather like Paul's saying, it could be a freak, in which case they might be the ones making. But I would feel with my strength here, it's not unreasonable to think that we are the bosses here. Okay, so I don't mind what you choose here, whether it's 5 clubs, 5 diamonds or 5 hearts. That in a way becomes partnership choice. I think if you feel there's a chance for slam, maybe 5 clubs is your best bet. However, in competitive auctions, it can be very handy to show where your second longest suit is. Alan's suggesting 5 hearts there. However, because we're already at the 5 level, I would suggest that partner doesn't need to know where your second suit is. Usually we show the second suit to see if we want to compete to the 5 level. So I would bid something. Let's look at the whole hand anyway. I mean, let's look at the whole hand and see how you feel. It turns out partner's got the rubbishy version and North has got a super strong hand. But even with the pile of rubbish, we're right. 5 spades is making, isn't it? Isn't that interesting? So partner does have a pile of rubbish. I'm bidding 5 clubs here. Can you see that? I could imagine my partner going on to 6 spades. So if I bid 5 spades with the East hand, which for me is the weakest option of the distributional hands, West has no defensive tricks at all. And if South, now it's clearly not going to happen here, but if South bid at the 6th level or bid 5, no, you know, I could imagine partner thinking, oh, we're sacrificing. So I like, if we bid 5 clubs, 5 diamonds or 5 hearts, basically your partner is thinking, okay, partner's strong, but I'm not 5 spades. I mean, North has a gorgeous hand, doesn't he? But they are, I think they're probably, I mean, we're probably going to lead. I don't think South is going to bid over 5 clubs. He might double 5 clubs. And if they bid 6 clubs, we're going to take 3 tricks. But I think it'll be a good sacrifice for them. I think they're only going to lose 1, 2, 3 tricks probably, aren't they? I say that. Yeah, no, I think that's probably what's going to happen. We'll lead the ace of spades and switch maybe to a heart to make sure of our 3 tricks so they can't discard anything. Well, they can't discard the things. We don't probably need to lead a heart. But, you know, it's interesting. So whether they bid to 6 clubs, I don't know. But it's important that we've bid to 5 spades. And we don't want to be bidding 6 spades. Okay, that's crucial here. So we're going to just say we're excited about our hand. And our partner's going to try and avoid bidding higher than 5 spades, which I think he'll manage. If he knows we're strong, he should not be sacrificing. Okay, so 5 spades, all you're going to lose here is the ace of hearts and a die. But as Paul says, I mean, it could be even freakier. All you can do is play with the odds, as it were. There will be quite a few times that North has a 6-5 hand, for example, and a 6-6 hand. You know, I think you're just playing, you know, trying to think of things in a normal fashion. Here it turns out North has got a gorgeous hand, doesn't he? Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's finish with our bidding quiz. So let's have a look at that. This is the one where you can see the answer online. So it goes 1 club, 1 heart from you. I hope you're happy with that. We're playing weak jump overcalls, so you could not do what you could have done, but it wouldn't have been an accurate bid. So you've started with 1 heart. It goes pass 1 no trump from partner. Okay, pass, and it's your bid. So 1 club, 1 heart, pass, 1 no trump, pass, and it is your bid. What do you think about that? And you can see the answer online, either as a member or non-member. So please do have a look at that, and hopefully you get it right. So thank you for your company today. Lots going on. As I say, we've got that anniversary. Just to remind you of that again, I'll chat about it as we go through the weeks. Do send in hands. I love hands, and of course this is a common topic. Both the topics we're doing, both Fridays, remember that's for the members, do join us, don't forget. But on the Fridays we're doing strong overcalls, and of course we're doing defending once they've opened 1 no trump. Comes up all the time, so send in hands and we'll look at those, because I love to have some examples for the session, the last session of the month, of course. So see you again soon. The next time we're going is a Wednesday night teams, so if you fancy that, I will see you then.